Welcome to Out of the World, and you're still joining our epic road trip in Southern Africa. We've been to South Africa, Namibia, we did a part in Botswana, and now we are across the border in the fourth country. This is Zimbabwe. So earlier you saw how the road trip started in Cape Town. We drove north along the west coast towards Namibia. A journey full of special places and animals. Until we seemed to be stuck in Botswana. But luckily we were able to continue for even more safaris. And this episode starts on the way to the border of Zimbabwe. On the Namibian side, everything seems to go smoothly. But that perfect blue sky soon makes place for darkness. Because it takes a lot longer at the Zimbabwe side. Wow guys, we did not see that coming. We are in Zimbabwe, but it took a while. We went in at 4 p.m. and it's now 7:30. 3.5 hours we've been filling out form after form. We had to write down everything, registration, numbers, cars, all that we own inside the car. Like even if you have a pen, you have to write it down. So yeah, and taxes and visa, and it all took so long. But we're finally here, we're in Zimbabwe, and we're going to a hotel because it's too dark out to go to a campsite anywhere. We have to eat something, but yeah, we're finally here. Oh yes. In African countries, KFC is especially well represented. And that doesn't really bother us after such a long drive. Although our little man just didn't make it to dinner. A few guys that we met in the KFC recommended this lovely hotel. We enjoy a well-deserved night's sleep and immediately learn about Zimbabwe's British influences with a delicious English breakfast. The incredible road trip so far has brought us across the border in the southwest to Bulawayo, the second city of Zimbabwe after the capital Harare. This behind me is the hotel where we slept, and this town doesn't have too much to offer for tourists, so we'll be going soon towards Matobo National Park. This city is the entrance gate to one of the most beautiful national parks in Zimbabwe, where you can see wild animals, and it's also UNESCO World Heritage, so reasons enough to visit that park. Let's go! Until 1965, Zimbabwe was a British colony called South Rhodesia. Several civil wars followed, after which the country became independent in 1980 and was named Zimbabwe, which means stone houses. Today we head to Zimbabwe's most iconic place, where beautiful nature and history come together. In this beautiful rocky landscape we find a place called Matobo. The Matobo National Park is part of the Matobo Hills, a greater area with no less than 3,000 square kilometers. It's on the UNESCO World Heritage List since 2003 because of its unique rock formations that are super old. And also you have 2,000-year-old rock paintings by the Bushmen. And then you have, of course, the wild animals over here. So a lot to see, and I'm curious what we're gonna see today. And we immediately see the strangest animal ever. This fluffy thing is actually a huge caterpillar. Okay. When you get to Matobo, you'll see that the park is divided into two parts. And the first one is the circular drive with all the historical sites, some nice viewpoints along the way, and it's still allowed to leave your car over there between all the rock formations. There are no wild animals there, but after that we go to the second part of the park, which is the game park, and over there are the wild animals, so it's strictly not allowed to leave the car. We hardly meet anyone on the circular drive, while enjoying amazing views in this otherworldly landscape. Then we park the car and we walk to the most beautiful view in all of Zimbabwe. This is the first stop, guys, and it's called World's View. It's one of the most beautiful panoramic views of Matobo National Park, but also it's the final resting place, the burial site of Cecil Rhodes, who was the founder of the British colony called Rhodesia in the 19th century, which is now Zimbabwe and Zambia. He chose this place because it had the most beautiful view of his beloved country, and also it's a very important spiritual place for the local tribes here. And the view is amazing. We will not forget this walk very soon, because so far we only drove through arid deserts and savanna areas. And therefore this is the most beautiful place we ever saw in Africa. And here too we find these gigantic round rocks. And we see colored lizards everywhere, which are so flat that they look like they've been run over. Wow guys, the temperature in Zimbabwe is again bloody sweaty hot. So every once in a while it's good to have a camper with a nice cold fridge and a cold Coke in there. You need those. Time to continue driving among the hundreds of rock formations in the 3,100 square kilometer park. The landscape here also changes every 5 minutes, with a natural work of art around every corner. Along the circular drive you have many panoramic views over the Matobo Hills, which consist of mountains with granite rocks balancing on top of them. They are also called koppies in African, and which is very familiar for me because in Dutch koppies is the same word and it means little heads. And among these koppies we see more and more animals. Awesome guys, we're not even in the game park yet, we're still in the part where you can leave the car actually, and we saw a water buck, a baboon, which are pretty dangerous I guess, and some warthogs over there. Pumbaa! I wouldn't want to get out of the car here anyway. But later on we do, because we dive even further into history. About 2,000 years ago, the Matobo Hills were inhabited by the Sun people, also named the Bushmen. And they left some vivid proof that we can visit today, because there are several caves among the park that you can visit to see their beautiful rock paintings. One of them is called the Nswatugi Cave, and it's the only cave that you can visit without doing a hike or climb. You just have to drive the muddy road right here. And most of the drawings they made are of the animals that they saw, so it's pretty interesting still today. How awesome is this? The oldest rock paintings in the park are about 10,000 years old and yet timeless. And on we go, because there is much more to see on the other side of the road. And this brings us to part 2 of Matobo National Park, because as I mentioned, there is a second part that's called the game park, where it's not allowed to leave your car. It's also known as the Wolfie Wilderness area, and it's the favorite hunting grounds of the leopard, so it's your best chance in Zimbabwe to see leopards. Also you can find black and white rhinos, giraffes, zebras, all other kinds of animals. I'm very excited. We're going in there right now, and then we stay in the car because it's dangerous. In this park we quickly see impalas. Beautiful birds, wildebeests, and also zebras, including this little guy that's not even a week old. There's a screaming in there, telling me to leave for a while. In Matobo we are also in the right place for giraffes. For the first time I trust him, right on now, I'm gonna ride my own line on. I wanna escape and restart all. I wanna escape and restart all. Here in the game park along the road we also see the most famous rock formation of the entire Matobo National Park, because these are the mother and child. As you can see, one looks like the mother, the smaller one is the child, and they are balancing like they can fall at any moment. Away into the wild, I know my aim, I'll dive inside. I'm not surprised that this is the most famous rock formation. Can't wait to bury the ruins of my mistakes, to only keep it the truth. It's hard to imagine how nature could have created this, right? And if you look closely, the mother even has a face.
Here it is, a wisdom of my say. Is that a my freedom of mine? Was born away.
That's it, guys, for today's episode in Zimbabwe, and what an adventure it was. In Matobo National Park I especially liked the safari because of the muddy and adventurous roads here. It was kind of hard to spot the animals between the trees, but with the rocks, what a beautiful setting this was. We're gonna drive on to Gwanda, a little town a little bit closer to the border with South Africa, because in the next episode you'll see us over there, in the most famous safari park in the world. We're going to Kruger Park. Just in front of our car, a large eagle appears that has just got its dinner. And speaking of dinner, we looked for a nice local restaurant among the locals.
Never revealing no secrets, you're keeping these promises.
And have so much fun.
I'll never tell.
Yeah, I like you, that's for sure. Never have to close the door. Been a long time, a year before, and I'm missing you so bad. Gone away a month or more. Every show I go before, I need to hear that voice, cause right now feels like it's been too long. I could never let you go on thinking about those secrets true. And I would never bet the world that I would find anyone like you.
In Europe I'm always a little bit bummed when I see a toll booth, because I know we're gonna have to pay. I don't know who gets my money, I don't want to pay. But over here, it's certainly no luxury to have a toll road, because the roads will get so much better. Smooth roads ahead, so give me a toll booth, please. From Bulawayo, we drive about 2 hours to the town of Gwanda. Where we again end up in a hidden gem of a hotel.
Think about that time when we stayed up all night talking. I could never let you go on thinking about those secrets true. And I would never bet the world that I would find anyone like you.
I'll never tell, just trust that I'll keep it locked in a cell.
There are fewer campsites in Zimbabwe, so it's often a hotel instead of a camping.
You're keeping these promises strong as a spell.
But you miss camping, right, Suze?
Who says we're not camping, guys?
Good morning, guys, from the little cozy town called Gwanda in Zimbabwe, a town that actually has nothing to offer, only a little market and local life. But the hotel was pretty fine to me. The power was out for most of the night, so it was pretty hot as well. But yeah, we feel okay, and we're gonna move on because we have 6 hours drive ahead towards the border of South Africa and to the Kruger Park. So no time to waste, let's go. Here we go, guys. Border crossing 1,000. That's the feeling I have. So from Zimbabwe to South Africa. And I'm curious as to how long this will take. Well, I already felt it coming, guys. To get into Zimbabwe was already hard, but getting out of Zimbabwe is also very hard because we got all the stamps, we had the visa stamped, we had the car checked out, and now we can go to South Africa. But the electricity is not working at the final gate that has to open with a traffic light that's red. So we're waiting here forever, and they cannot fix it. After complaining for a very long time, we are allowed to drive through the red light, and over the famous Bight Bridge we cross the Limpopo River to South Africa. Wow, that took us about an hour, so this is the South African side, and I hope this goes a little bit faster. Stop the time, guys, because we're finally done. 1.5 hours this time. But we are in South Africa. And there our next adventure awaits. So tune in next time for a safari with more animals than ever. We also fly on to the islands of Mauritius and La Réunion. So subscribe to our channel and don't miss any of our travels around the world. Ciao!